Hello and welcome in this new episode of Before It Is All Gone, which comes to you straight from the Arctic, above latitude 80. We are on our ship Lanceus and we will be cruising around for a whole week, Svalbard, looking for Arctic wildlife such as polar bears, walruses, blue whales, and obviously anything else which we will be able to find amongst the sea ice in incredible scenery, huge massive glaciers, just a beautiful place to be. I hope you will enjoy this episode, and of course, if you like this video or you like my videos in general, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please stop right there, click there to subscribe, and then if you want to, leave a comment. If you like the video, just share it. All that good stuff always helps. Now let's get to it. Let's see what kind of beautiful animals call this land their home. The Arctic is the northernmost region of our world. It is found north of the Arctic Circle, or latitude 66.5. Most of it is covered by the Arctic Ocean, and even the small land masses which can be found there are covered mostly by glaciers and snow big part of the year. Global warming affects the Arctic the most. It seems to be warming 2-3 times faster than the global average, and the cause of this is very simple. Ice and snow, which covers the Arctic most of the year, reflects the light very well. That means where it melts, the underlying water or land absorbs much more heat, and this escalates the warming process. Since most of the animal species which call this place their home are depending partially or entirely on the polar ice, they are extremely sensitive to global warming, hence they are at risk. Svalbard is a small group of islands which can be found 650 miles south from the North Pole, which is actually closer than its distance from the Arctic Circle, so it is really north. It belongs to Norway and it has an amazing variety of wildlife, and this is the place what we are exploring in this episode. Walruses are a very cool species of pinnipeds and one of the most iconic species of the Arctic. We're going to talk about them first in this episode. They're pretty big. Adult males can grow up to 2,000 kilograms, and they have very characteristic tusks. The tusks are actually elongated canines which can reach a length of 1 meter. The males are using them for fighting and display of domination. The dominant males have usually the biggest tusks, but they're also using them to keep breathing holes open and climb onto the sea ice. Walruses are feeding mostly on mollusks, a type of clams in the sediment of the shallow waters, even though they can dive to a depth of 500 meters. Occasionally, walruses actually can attack smaller seals and even feed on them. The only two natural predators of walruses are orcas and polar bears, but both only occasionally prey on them. Adult walruses actually can fatally wound polar bears, so they are avoiding direct confrontations. Walruses are highly social and normally they can be found in big numbers, as you've seen it before as well, except the females with the young pups which prefer to leave the big groups and nurse their babies alone. We were lucky enough towards the end of our trip to find this female with its pup, and we got an amazing view really close from our ship. We just stopped the ship because somebody spotted a polar bear really far with a spotting scope, and now we'll slowly get closer and try to see if we can get a good look at them, and obviously I will try to share the footage with you. Apparently it is a mom with 2 cubs, but we'll know more once we get closer. So let's check it out. It should be somewhere there in the distance on top of the ice. Super exciting. There was indeed a polar bear mom with 2 cubs on the ice. And the crazy thing, the mom actually went to hunt front of our eyes and we witnessed the whole thing. Since even the cut version of this hunt video would be too long to include here, if you would like to see it now, just click on the link above. Or if you would like to finish this episode, there will be a thumbnail coming up at the end and you can find the video of the polar bear hunting there as well. On our trip, we found some other polar bears on the sea ice as well, like this guy which is just trying to find a comfortable position to rest. This is not a surprise at all, since polar bears spend the majority of their time on top of the sea ice where they are hunting, mostly for seals. Because of this, actually they're classified as marine mammals. That's from where their Latin name comes as well, which is Ursus maritimus. Polar bear are the biggest bear species and one of the biggest predators around. Adult males can reach a weight of 700 kilograms. Even though polar bears spend most of their time on the polar ice, cubs are actually born on land a few kilometers away from the coast. Females have most commonly 2 cubs, like this one you can see here on the video as well. These cubs are actually not newborn, they're most probably already in their 2nd year. Polar bears are fully adapted to life in the Arctic. They have a layer of dense underfur and an outer layer of guard hairs which appear to be white, but which are actually transparent. They have an extremely good smell. They can smell a seal 1 meter deep in the snow from 1.6 kilometers away, which makes them an extremely successful predator. The polar bear population is estimated to be around 20,000 individuals, and the species is classified as vulnerable. This is because they are entirely depending on the sea ice, which is disappearing year after year. The biggest risk for polar bears, already in the present, not only in the future, is malnutrition and starvation due to habitat loss. On our trip, we managed to get to the pack ice, to the southernmost edge of the frozen part of the Arctic Ocean. It was absolutely stunning and humbling to know that from here to the North Pole, all there is ice. The frozen area reaches its minimum extent in September, and it is 40% smaller now than it was in 1979 when satellite imagery started in the area. So the edge of the frozen area gets further and further away every year from the shore, which results in animals like polar bears getting stranded on land. One of the species found around Svalbard I wanted to see the most is the blue whale. This baleen whale is the biggest animal ever lived on Earth, with a length of 30 meters and weighing up to 200 tons. They spend the summers in polar waters feeding almost exclusively on krill, then migrate to their breeding grounds in tropic waters where they spend the winter. In the 19th century, they were almost hunted to extinction, but in 1966, blue whale hunting became banned. In 2018, they estimated that there are around 10 to 25,000 individuals alive, which is still far from the 140,000 estimated for the early 1900s. While out on the ocean, we also found seals like this bearded seal and the most amazing, incredible bird life. When visiting the high Arctic, one tends to concentrate on the water and the ice, understandably. But in the summer, Svalbard has some beautiful things to offer on land as well. You can find colorful plants and flowers, sites with historic significance, and also some interesting Arctic animal species. Svalbard reindeer is a small-sized subspecies of reindeer found only on this area. They can be found in all non-glaciated areas. And they have a thicker and lighter colored fur than other reindeer. This color actually means that from distance they can be confused with polar bears, which happens regularly on every single trip. Arctic foxes can also be found here, like this one, which was hanging around the nesting guillemot colony, probably looking for eggs or chicks fallen from their nest. And again, the bird life around the shore and on land is just as incredible as out on the water. Thank you very much for joining me on this journey to the Arctic. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. If you liked the video, please don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. It really helps me a lot. And if you would like to support my work, then share this video with your friends. Hopefully more and more people will become aware that this fragile ecosystem needs our help desperately, before it is all gone.